topic, but yeah, Kendrick
Yeah, yeah. I know we
put
ventured
forth
off.
an incredible performance, man. Are there some nuggets out there that people might not have caught that was going on during the stage performance?
I think him starting off with GNX and the commentary from Sam, before that, and then you see people getting out that GNX car. You just seen people getting out. And I don't know, like I said, my takes could be wrong. This is just how I interpret it. But when I look
Mhm.
at that, like it brought me back to the immigrant thing that's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? When I'm looking at that, seeing people keep on getting out the GNX
I can see
and
that.
what he's being said. I took notes on this. I think it was symbolism to that because they said that it said that America is the greatest country of all and everybody contributes to the American dream. But it's ironic because who the backs of what this country was built off on. So
Yeah.
you have these people who you label these immigrants and outside of the US, whatever, and they're coming in here, but these are of ancestors of these descendants of ancestors that helped build this country, black, brown, whatever. We all contributed to this thing that others benefited off this of to call this the greatest America and create this American dream logic. So I think there was symbolism in that. One of the other things to me was you had black people holding up those flags, holding up the colored flags, and it goes into the American flag that symbolizes, I mean, not hip hop. I love hip hop so much as in my vocabulary right now. It goes back to saying that, this country was built off the blacks of us. If you're talking about America, we are America. If that's the case, we helped build this country. We contributed to this. So I think that was a statement of his own. He said, going in to squabble up, the revolution would be televised. They picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
Mm.
He goes in to squabble up, which was kind of like dope in transition, that fight back.
Yeah.
We out here to reclaim what's ours in a sense. And, after that, Uncle Sam telling them, hey, it's too loud, too ghetto. And he asked if Kendrick know how to play the game and told him to tighten up. And it goes into be humble. Now they're telling you, hey, you need to humble yourself now. Like,
Mm.
we're often told to fall in line and humble ourselves and, don't be, that or whatever. Our voices is always constantly trying to be canceled. Our leaders constantly being canceled. So I thought that was something in symbolism of itself. Then it goes into DNA. The lines itself. I got royalty in my DNA that tracks back to us. We know there's royalty in our DNA. We didn't come from just being slaves and being oppressed. We were once of kings and queens. So in that nature of going into that, not only did our people help build this country on our back, but we came from something that was way more extravagant to which I amount us to be and acting like we don't have a great history within ourselves, so just recognizing that that's within our DNA, we're that runs through our veins of, those ancestors. Then he goes into I deserve it all, which sums it up, man. Look, we helped contribute to this, we
Mm.
helped build this. This is my DNA. We deserve what you guys are oppressing us from. We deserve it all. Our ancestors helped build this country on our back. Yeah, we deserve this, man. We deserve what we've been oppressed and been helped from for all these years, in a sense. Then, it goes into Uncle Sam saying, you brought your homeboys with you, scorekeeper, deduct one life. I've never seen Squid Game, so I didn't know that's what that deduct one life was from. So I interpreted
Yeah.
it different. To me, I got it as saying, oh, yeah, you got your support, you got a leader, but we can get rid of that leader. So damn your influence. Because, oh, you got somebody to stand behind, you guys feel like you're doing something, boom, we'll take them out. Well, we know there's a history of our great leaders being taken out. No matter what their individual personal flaws is, what they stood for and what they did for the people, anybody with a voice that was behind leading the way for the civil rights movement into just rights as black people as a whole, they've taken out every single leader. And I think
Yep.
it was dope that he goes into peekaboo because if you look at the dancers assembling in peekaboo, you see the multiplication of people. You see, in a sense, they're popping out in numbers that you could take away our leaders, but we're still here and we don't die, we multiply, in the
Mm.
sense of that. So I thought that was dope. Then they slowed it down, took a smoother approach, and went into Luther. Um, you see, he goes into all the stars, and everybody's moving in unison. And if you look at those dancers, it's not majority black dancers now. I seen Asian women in there. I seen different races within that's marching in unison, but it's a quieter, different approach. And men and women doing that peacefully, but it's looked at as falling in line and not as upsetting and ruffling of feathers. But then you have Uncle
Mhm.
Sam that said, nice and calm, and then he's interrupted by not like us. Yeah, you thought shit was sweet when we assemble and we come in here and we do this together. It's no longer fall in line. Now we have the power and influence to do something. And Kendrick calls out that cultural divide, and he says 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than music. And then he goes and says they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. After multiple times of our culture, being like, or our history being erased, and multiple times that you have taken out our leaders, and we're not standing for that shit no more. Like, this is
Mhm.
that, we are we're coming back to get what's ours, and we know there's a cultural divide. And we, even speaking to his colonizer points and stuff of that record on that last verse that went against Drake, this is why I say this is what's beautiful about it, because he has a little sub disses to Drake. He had the thing we talking about suing. He has a thing where, even performing Not Like Us, all of this was still subsuing Drake, diss to Drake, but it aligns beautifully with talking about colonization and the
Yep.
culture and how the divide is there. So that's how I took it. Our stuff can't be reduplicated or replicated. It stands on our own. This is what we fought for. This is what they built the backs off of. This is what we're standing for. And then he goes into TV off, and it's basically saying, hey, cut off all propaganda and misinformation and BS, and really be aware. Open up your eyes. Go read something. Go be of that. If you say that's what it is, turn off the camera. Turn off your TVs. Get away from the bullshit, and let's get back to what the real focus is. And it's game over. Game over meaning, hey, cut off the bullshit. We're now aware enough that we could lead this charge and do what needs to be done. So it's a lot of symbolism within that. That's why I say it's deeper than just the Drake stuff. Like I said, if you're
Yeah.
surface and you look for entertainment, then yeah, you could take that for what it is. But he did a perfect way um of meshing the two with still dissing a guy, but still getting his point across in his narrative of America and the plight as black, in that nature. So I think it was dope. It was brilliant to me.
It was brilliant, and that was a brilliant breakdown as well. I want make sure that you had an opportunity to share that with the people, because all of those things are valid, and the fact that you hadn't even seen Squid Games or watched it like that and was able to pull all of that together, even without that piece of it. I think the way that he even involves Squid Game in the concept of that show to, his narrative, the game, Black History Month, and even this beef he has with Drake. Drake was able to, in some way, shape, or form, Drake played right into Kendrick's mission statement. You know what I'm saying? It's like Drake basically played himself into a character in Kendrick's movie. You know what I mean? And I think that line when Drake was like rapping like you're trying to get the slaves free really put Drake in a backward stance. It showed where his mindset was, and maybe it was a misstep on his end, but Kendrick was able to take that and double down on that and really speak on the colonizing nature of this artist, this game, and why he is about culture and this guy isn't. And like I said, for those who feel like this stage show or this halftime show was about Drake, that's probably what you were looking for it to be about. Because everything you spoke about had nothing to do with Drake. This was about Kendrick. Drake just fit into it in that one piece because we
Yeah.
know he fit in that one piece. If we had no idea that Not Like Us was about Drake, we wouldn't have even said any of those things. Now, I think the subtleties of having Serena out there, doing her sea walk that she famously did, was at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Um, she's from Compton. So even that is like a double play on things. It's like that might not even have anything to do with the fact that she dated Drake once upon a time. That's really more so about the fact that she famously did that on a big stage as well, and she's from Compton. You know what I'm saying? So
The blowback was for her doing that then too.
exactly. And that fits into some of those narratives and things that Uncle Sam's talking about. Once
Mhm.
again, if you wanted that to be about Drake, you wanted that to be about Drake. It really wasn't.
Mhm. Yeah,
So yeah,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
so much
Those double
going on
meanings.
that show, man. It's brilliant. And
It was
and
poetic.
again, I'm not sitting here trying to convince anybody to like it, but at the end of the day, other podcasts out there are probably going to be talking about, the battle part of it and all that. I want to really focus on the brilliance of what they put together and the time and the thought that was put into this show. And great job. 10 out of 10 in my personal opinion.
Yeah, because it's funny too, like how you said where she from and whatnot. But in the Drake aspect, people are like, oh, why is she doing it? Like she's married. This is 13 years old. Blah. If it's so old, then tell that to the guy that's still dissing her and her husband in records. You know what I'm saying? Like, like why? If this was so long ago, why is he's the goofy? He's the guy that's still dissing her, and he just called her husband a groupie on his last album. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, man, this stuff. This it was a lot of symbolism, and then like I said, if you here for the entertainment and wanted to just see the Drake portion of it, and that's what all you seen it of, then cool. I hope you was entertained, but there's thoughtfulness in a story and a narrative that's put behind it. He didn't have Sam Jackson narrating and the thing for no reason. There was a story there, and if it went beyond you, and if you need to go back and listen, it's full. You can go look at the full performance. Go look at it.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to do so, man. Like I think in today's time, people feel like it's a weakness to have to go back and review something and catch something that you missed. I remember when we talking about Supreme Clientele, man. I used to rewind these songs and these verses to like, yo, what did he say right there? And you know what I'm saying? And catch things that you didn't catch before. Like that used to be like a whole thing in hip hop where you catching different Easter eggs that you didn't catch the first couple of times that you heard a song. And the fact that we got a performer and a performance that was able to give us a stage show where we could go back and continue to look at and still find different things. I think that's a beautiful thing, man. That's something that should be congratulated. They did a great job. And like I said, shout out to Rock Nation and Jay. Y'all made the best decision. And y'all must have known this man had this in his back pocket. And it was a great performance, man.